That fucking
Look
scared
at
me.
Scott's
That's
face.
it. That's the fucking
like,
nail in
oh.
the coffin there.
Because it was immediate.
Here we go. Scariest night of my life at the ancient ram. It changed everything. It changed all of our lives. Scott's especially, I think. Let's go. We will contact the dead one way or another.
How you feeling, Joel?
Cold.
Oh, Jesus, you alright?
So where did that bang come? Scott, I know why you're in trouble now. It's because you physically assaulted the house.
That could be it.
See that? No.
The whisper.
I give you permission to attack me.
It said Jordan again.
You taking the...
Locked us out. Shut up.
What?
Enjoy.
Probably the best trailer I've ever made, I won't lie. So we've got the intro, guys. We've arrived. What were we all thinking? I mean, Scott, although we've been friends for years now, this was actually the first time that we met. So, like,
Yes.
fair, but I just want to appreciate, like, you know, you travelled a long way to the most haunted place in the country to share an evening with three people you've never met. You could have easily been murdered by us.
And not
we
the
could have easily been murdered by him as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, well, it's true. You could have
It
been
was a
playing the long.
question.
You've been playing the long game.
Safety in numbers.
But yeah, but
Yeah, true.
how were we all feeling? I was just excited to be there, to be honest.
Mm.
Yeah, it was very exciting
Yeah.
to start off with.
Any
Yeah, I was
fear
buzzing.
trickling in at any? You know, was it like oh shit or?
Not
Compared
at this
to-
point.
Yeah, compared to like when we've been traveling to abandoned places, like when me, you, and Bailey went to the RAF base, and we literally couldn't even speak because we were so nervous about going back there. Felt fine going here, absolutely fine.
I think
Yeah.
it's just because we know we didn't have anybody there with us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had
Yeah,
the whole place
it's
to ourselves,
amazing
so
what a coded padlock will do for your confidence.
Yeah.
One of the big parts of, well, certainly in the comments, one of the big parts of like the scariest thing, which surprised me to be honest, was the crow. The crow got a lot of shout outs in the comment section, and obviously it kind of took a liking to you, Maya. Let's just take a little bit of a look at the crow in action. They dug up a child from. Oh no, this is where they dug up a child.
Finally,
That's a bit more scary.
Which, yeah. I mean, with that
I
bit,
forget that.
yeah, with that bit, I thought it was in a basement, but it's
did
literally
I.
on the same level.
Yeah.
But yeah,
As you walk in, pretty much.
yeah. But the crow is literally, as we can see here, the crow is literally above that grave.
Stops and stares me out.
But obviously, like, no one ever addresses it. There is wind in the room because we are moving about. So
Yeah,
Or
I
is it
remember like watching. I can't remember whose video it was, but watching a video a couple of nights before we went, and they were like, "Oh my god, the crow's moving!" But they were all fucking moving about the room, so obviously the crow. There's going to be wind in the room. So I was like, the second we walk in there, we're going to debunk this, and then it did what it did
Yeah, when
as
you're
soon as we
standing
walked
still
in.
and it's still doing his thing.
We were standing dead still, and it was just it kept turning and turning and turning. Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah, it was really odd.
Just gonna stare at
But
it.
if it now stops,
I'm just going to get a temperature on it. 20 degrees.
It does seem to be
It
slowing
stops.
down. There you go.
No.
Yeah, where's your win? Where's your win now? Oh my god. What?
And then it started like turning back at that bit. It's just the way that throughout the night, you know, this crow
It's coming back!
just was seemingly like in love with Maya.
Yeah.
And also the fact that all the times that we kept going through back towards the kitchen, it was staring at us until obviously the part at the end.
Except for the end, which is the worst bit about that crow.
It's like it knew
Yeah.
where we were the entire time we was in there. It was
Yeah.
so weird.
Yeah.
Massively. anytime we did anything in that room, even if we weren't looking at it, you'd pan to that crow with a torch and it would be staring at you.
Yeah.
Like, the worst bit is later on where Scott keeps asking it and he's standing behind me with the camera.
Yeah.
And it just keeps going.
Absolutely. It's crazy. I just want to bring some attention to this bit, because this is obviously the first time that we see the mirror.
What we got in
Right,
here, then?
as we're panning through, we're still trying to learn the layout, and
Yeah, it is still...
the weird thing about the mirror for me was the whole time we were there, well, there was a few things with that mirror, but the whole time we were there, it did not have demon. Look, where does it say demon? There. Where does it say demon? I cannot see a word demon on that fucking mirror, right? So there's no demon on there until the end, which is why, like, towards the end of the night, I even say it, like, out of nowhere, because it's like, oh.
That's the first time it clocked it.
It very clearly says demon on the mirror. Like, how has that not been seen yet? Which is crazy. But also, I'm going to talk about this now, actually, just while we're talking about the mirror, I guess. But we'll watch the mirror bit towards the end. But throughout the video, it happens twice, I think, specifically with my black and white, night vision camera, which is my little handheld. When you pan past this mirror, it like really fucked with the infrared and like made it really dark just for a split second when you're aiming it at the mirror. And I have all of the raw files. I haven't put any effects on my little handheld black and white night vision camera. Like I say, that's why I had it on the screen where it says like infrared interference or something like that. But there is a part in this video, or not in this video, but from the night that didn't make it into the video, where Bailey is having a cigarette break outside. I believe it's nighttime because you had the night vision camera on you and you had it on. And I've shown you guys while I was editing, didn't I? I sent it in the group chat, but it didn't make it into the video. But I'm showing it right now. Basically, Bailey, you pan, or you're like holding the camera up with you in it against the building, pointing at the building, pointing at the windows. I think you're trying to like, oh, I wonder if I'll catch anyone, you know, looking behind the curtains.
I might see someone walk past or see a little face, see a little flicker or something. You guys are upstairs having your little toilet break or whatever you were doing up there.
Yeah, exactly. And the camera did the interference thing again, right? And you think, oh, faulty camera. But then I realized where he was aiming the camera was at the wall of which the mirror is directly the other side of. So that camera, every single time it was pointed at that mirror, had a little interference, which I think, even behind a 1,000-year-old solid brick wall, had a little interference, which to me is incredibly odd. Incredibly odd. And then obviously you skip forward to what happened with the word demon written on the mirror later on, and it's just fucking bizarre. But just while I'm quickly talking about cameras, I just want to bring your attention to this one, because this is not a, which one is it? It's now coming up. This is not a this is not a night vision camera. So this camera here is actually one of the Atma podcast cameras. It's an incredibly expensive camera, an Atma film in 4K. Now, we were filming this with my camera that you can see in my hand, the main camera that I have right here, in 1080. So I didn't want that disparity. I didn't want any issues. So I toned the Atma camera down to 1080. But we also, I don't know why we did it, Bailey, but we fucked with the ISO. I think we put it on automatic. But anyway, basically changing the ISO to automatic meant that it was constantly trying to change the ISO to match the differentiation of lighting levels, and that differentiation caused it to affect the frame rate. So the frame rate was dropping when there was a difference or a lot of movement and things like that. So when we came back from our 13-hour stay in the Ancient Ram Inn and a 5-hour car journey home, the main camera we used, because it was the most expensive camera I had at my disposal that we had on a rig and all sorts that Bailey was, you can see throughout the video he's using. It was the main camera we used. It was, the quality was not very good at all, and I was devastated and I panicked a bit, but I managed to salvage it because I thought, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this camera and I'm going to make it into like a Blair Witch type themed camera. So I put a load of effects on it with the black and white. I did some vision. I did a little bit of like noise, and I faded it a bit and all this sort of stuff to get the effect that you see here. Now, it looks okay here. It's not too framey. That's because the light was quite stable. But there are moments where the light really differs or there's a lot of movement, and so it goes all framey and stuff. I know this is very boring camera spiel, but I just wanted everyone to be aware because, like someone commented, later on in the video when everything is happening, why are you using a shitty black and white camera that is framey? It's like, well, because that shitty black and white camera is actually a $2,000 camera that's on a rig and was supposed to be the best thing ever that I've brought onto my channel. But because we fucked with the settings, we accidentally messed the camera up a little bit. So, yeah. Long story short, apologies, but I won't be using that camera again. I'm just going to be using this one as the main one. I know that it works. I know that it's smooth. And, yeah, so I just wanted to explain, in hopefully not a completely boring way, why there was this black and white camera used for a lot of the video. And if it ever got framey at some point, that is why. Because actually I was trying to salvage the footage.
Just to add on to that as well, we did check the footage at the very start of the night.
We did,
but we tested it in a well-lit room.
Yeah, we tested
it. Obviously, we didn't have any issues with we didn't have any issues with the setting changes at that point because the room was well lit. Obviously, then we went into the dark,
and it all went tits up.
So, yeah.
But yeah, so that's the reason why it gets a little bit framey in places. But for 30 East Drive, it's going to be crisp as. Okay, so first time ever, we decided to kind of split off into teams, and we did this little spin the wheel thing, and it was really fun. And we had, what was it? Team Miley and Team Scorden. And Scorden Ramsey. And we broke off into teams. First of all, Bailey and Maya, how did you find that? Like, how did you find your mini investigation?
It was all right, to be fair. It was pretty chilled when we first sort of started going around and that. I've got into my inner ghost hunter. It was like, you just kind of just panning around. Nothing was really kicking off to start with.
Yeah.
I think we started. Where did we start? In the witch's room, was it when we started?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had nothing really kicking about in there. It just felt pretty quiet, chilled out. And then we went to the bishop's room and literally got nothing in there.
Nothing.
The bishop's room all night was not that great.
Terrible.
Yeah, the whole time it was in there, it was just a bust.
Considering everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's the most haunted room in the building,"
Yeah, that was weird. The amount of activity that people claim they got in the bishop's room. I mean, that's the room that apparently has the possessions taking place in it, and we got just nothing.
Not a knock, not a noise, not even any answers on the Estes method.
We sat in there for 20 minutes for the Estes method, and just nothing.
We didn't even get a little flicker on the EMF light throughout the night. We didn't even get nothing coming through on there.
The only thing I'll say about the bishop's room, which is something that I picked up on when I was editing the Estes method, specifically me doing it in the witch's room, is 3 concurrent knocks can be heard, and I pointed them out via visual and audio boosting. And obviously you are supposed to knock 3 times with the cane on the bishop's face. So maybe there was nothing in there when we were in there, but when we were in the witch's room, maybe something went in there.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I'm pretty sure after the Estes method, we never went back in the bishop's room.
So. maybe what it was doing is because we went in there multiple times without knocking. We knocked a little bit later on.
Yeah.
But maybe
too late
showing
then.
us, like, this is what you should have done. Knock, knock,
Yeah.
knock.
Yeah.
Go in.
It's also, again, the Estes method in the den. It did at that point say, obviously, we got behind as a response,
And the bishop's
which,
room
based
is
on where we
behind.
were, was the bishop's room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
yeah.
true.
Very
That is
true.
very
We've got a lot
true.
Which
going off
we
in this
then
den,
we
to
then
be
did
fair.
go into the bishop's room afterwards, though,
Yeah. And nothing happened.
and nothing happened.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, with mine and Bailey's duo, I think by that point we'd been in and out a couple of times and like as a group and not caught much. And then the witch's room was pretty tame. The bishop's room, like we said, absolutely nothing. And then like no equipment going off at all. The amount of times we'd used the EMF at that point and hadn't caught anything. And then when we went in the den and it started, like stuff actually started happening, it was such like it's weird to say, but like a relief feeling to be like, yes, we're actually going to get some stuff tonight. Like, I was really worried that we'd travelled all that way and this building had been hyped up so much. And then
It's
that
just
started
still-
happening.
It's just still very early on, wasn't it? When we did
Yeah.
our little duos round, like the sun
9,
not
10.
long gone. Yeah,
I mean,
the sun not
this
long
was
gone
before the
down.
Ouija board and before
Yeah.
we got to the.
Yeah, well before.
Just while
Because
you
the duos is what started the Ouija board that, made us realise that we needed to do it.
Yeah. But just what you're saying about what the time was, I found throughout the whole evening, time felt so fucking distorted. Like, we were in there for 13 hours, and yet it felt like 10 minutes. It was so
Literally.
bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we kept going around doing investigations, going back, and the next thing you know, it's like 2 a.m, and it's like, whoa, what the hell? And then we go back and we do some more stuff, and then it's over. It's 5:30 in the morning or whatever. The sun's coming up, and I'm doing an outro. It's just like, what? You know what? It was
Like-
very, very weird. That building is just strange.
Yeah. The fact that between the Estes method and when we left, all the stuff that happened in between that, not much. We did the Estes method, we did the pendulum, the mirror happened, we left. That was 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how's that possible?
Yeah.
That honestly felt like in, out, in, out, in, out, done. How was
Yeah.
that mental?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just want to, just whilst it's at this point, I just want to highlight, as I was saying earlier, it was my black and white night vision camera that made the had the interference. This is like I was saying, this is the main Atma camera just with an effect on it. So as you can see, as it goes past the mirror here, which you'll notice there is no demon written on it, there is no interference. It's the little handheld that Maya used a lot, and Scott, you had, I think you used as well. We basically had my main camera some of the time. We had this camera, the Blair Witch camera, for the majority, if not all of the time, and then that little handheld night vision one. And if I go back, if we go back to the Ancient Ram Inn, first of all, I want to do a scrying portal session with that mirror specifically. But I just want to have that night vision camera just fixated on that mirror, and just see what happens with the footage, because it was just so bizarre,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Static cameras are a must for everywhere we go in future.
Yeah.
Because a bit that got left out of this video is when you two were doing your duo and me and Bailey were outside and we heard the bell go off. If we had a static camera in that room, that would have been caught on camera, 1,000,000%.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This bear is oh man. I just feel like if the day comes where that actually goes off, I'll just be so happy, because so far I've taken it to 3 or 4 locations and it has done 0.
Nothing.
It has been just a very pointless bear up
But
till now.
it's excellent though, because when that does go off, it's going to be such a monumental thing. Like,
Yeah.
Because we
Compared
know
to-
it. Yeah, because we know it doesn't just go off. So
exactly.
when it does go off, something has set it off.
Exactly.
Yeah, no,
Like-
absolutely.
It's weirdly great when equipment doesn't do anything, because then when it starts doing something, it's like, see, it doesn't just do this, it's doing it for a reason, like the EMF meter.
Oh,
That's
I love
the night
this
vision
bit.
camera,
I love
isn't
it.
it?
Yeah, that's the night vision camera in Scott's hand there. I love this bit. This is the bit. Just Scott's face on this bit is so funny. Were you
permission?
I was in this moment. I was like, "Do I say it? Do I say it?"
I could see you debating it, which was quite
I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah,
I know exactly.
and then-
We could hear you from outside as well. We were like, "Fuck off! Did they just do that?"
We just looked at each other.
Sort
and
of-
just went like that.
That's a look of fear.
Let her know.
Pure
I've said,
fear.
He
I've
said, "What's
said
he gonna
it.
say?"
I've said it.
Debating why I've travelled half the length of the country to be locked in a building with you
The psycho.
saying that.
Yeah. Here we go.
It's the
To
sign.
attack me. Not Scott, just me.
He's like, he fucking did it. Wow. Okay. We're in the attic as well, which is absolutely just fucking horrible. Just being sat there, just staring down the attic space.
Oh, you didn't look at the eyes that we caught early on in the night.
Yeah, the eyes bit. That was a bit strange. I can't really work out what that
I think it
would
was
be.
way before
Yeah,
this.
is it?
It was our first nighttime one, I think.
First time we went up there.
It was there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's there. It's really strange.
Eyes? Question mark?
There was a bang downstairs.
Shut up.
Was there actually?
Shut up.
Yeah, there.
Yeah.
It's definitely something reflective there, isn't there?
The thing that makes me question it is I move the camera and then I move it back to the exact same position. That them dots aren't there anymore.
Yeah.
And they were bright red on my screen when I was looking at the viewfinder.
The witch's kitty.
There's something on my camera that's like picking up two little dots. Do you see them? Wait, it's not really doing it anymore. Can I zoom in? I swear there was two little.
That the woman's voice, I am 99% sure, based on what the time was, etc. That is just a pissed woman walking past outside.
1000%. It wasn't that late at this
Yeah,
point.
I mean, we know there were people walking by at
Yeah.
several points throughout the night because we were out there
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they sort of came over.
Yeah, because people, this place does definitely attract people for sure. Although they can't get in because it's fenced off. But there's like a load of kids that early on were like, "Oh, who are you? What are you doing here? Are you famous?"
Well, they must know
Are you gonna
celebrities
catch
come there all the
ghosts?
time.
Yeah. Well, when I went over to speak to them, they were like, "Oh, TGF was here the other week. It must be cool for them." But yeah, so that the eyes very odd, could just be a little reflected. Like it's annoying. Maybe like in future investigations, I'll take my laptop so that we can study footage we've just taken. Because if we'd have seen that, we could be like, okay, let's go back up there and actually root around in that area
Yeah.
and see.
Let's go
what
debunk it
is.
immediately.
Yeah.
Rather than then reviewing it and then being 7 hours drive away.
The crow.
Kind of thing.
But it's like, I think we said at the time, they did look like cat eyes.
Yeah. And
did.
the Ouija board kept implying that we were talking to a cat, which
And in the
Which is so
Estes
weird.
and in the Estes method,
best night of
I
my
say-
life.
And in the Estes method, I say animal.
Mm.
But then so are demons, they're beasts. But yeah, so what do we think of the Ouija board? I'll go to you first, Scott, because obviously it's your first ever experience with a Ouija board. What do you think? I know I did ask you in the video, but you've had time to process now. What do you think?
Well, to start with, the Ouija board's too big.
Massively.
Their Ouija
I have
board is
since
too
bought
big.
a new Ouija board.
Yeah.
Nobody's got the time or
already bought it
patience to sit
already?
there for half an hour.
No, we have.
Oh, I was gonna say, I was like, fucking hell, gee, you taking a piss in here?
But it's not called a Ouija board, which means loophole.
It's an oracle board. So I don't know if, it's because basically for context, guys, we're going to 30 East Drive very soon, and we're not allowed to do a Ouija board. They've said specifically you cannot make this place worse than it already is. You're not allowed to fuck with Ouija boards. So I've purchased an oracle board, which is literally a Ouija board called an oracle board.
The words are in different orders.
I'm
That's
not being
literally
funny.
the
You
letters.
watch that Most Haunted? They with that tap and shit. You know, A, B, C.
Yeah,
tap.
they
That's a
did a
Ouija board.
tapping board. They did the tapping board, which is
It's the same
apparent.
thing.
It's apparently different.
Yeah, but then so is
It's-
oracle board.
It's a
Yeah.
board covered in letters that spirits use to communicate. with you.
Yeah.
Well, the other option that
that-
we've got, which I think is excellent, is you get a big bit of paper and then we've got a planchette with a pencil in it, and then you get them to draw things out and then you analyse it afterwards. I think
like
that's
the idea with that.
Yeah. I've seen people use that in a video before. I just think that's so cool.
Yeah. We'll find a way, but it is a shame because what we've kind of found throughout investigations is Ouija boards tend to kick shit off, and so the idea was when we left here was like, okay, first thing we're gonna do when we get to a location is we're gonna do a Ouija board from the get go, and then literally the next location that we choose, we're not allowed to do a Ouija board. But
I mean, it's fair to say that I think this is the point the night changed.
Massively.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
it
yeah.
always is. Every single place we go, it's the moment the night changes from a bit placid to what the fuck is going on.
yeah, it is very strange, and but I understand like people say, well, first of all, people say, oh, you're pushing it, right? First, no, not pushing it at all. Could be micro tremors. People have done scientific experimentation with micro tremors, where it's like without knowing, your hands and fingers are moving all the time and shit, and it could be moving it around. But I trust everyone that I do Ouija boards with, and there is no conscious pushing going on at all. Because what would be the fucking point? Do you know what I mean? That's what people need to understand. I'm not, going out of traveling hours to go to these places to fucking have one of you guys push the Ouija board. Because what if I'm like, Maya, push the Ouija board, make out some creepy words, and then turns out the Ouija boards are, a real communication tool, and a ghost was trying to pull it to a certain fucking letter, and Maya's just there pushing it to another one. It's just no fucking point whatsoever.
Yeah.
I can't explain them. They're very fucking weird, and it's just a cool thing. But that one was way too big because they're not fast. They're not like they are in the fucking movies. You know what I mean? Like it's they take their time, and we kind of had to just be like, okay, this is going towards yes, so let's ask a new question.
We normally have like an hour set aside from when we do one of these investigations that is like dedicated to a Ouija board as well.
Yeah.
Like it's always a long session when we're doing them. It's not just a 5-minute thing, and it takes a while for it to even start moving a lot of the time. Like
I think the another thing to kind of add weight to the fact that we're not faking it is each of us ask questions. Some of them get answered. Like, say, for example, Jordan will ask a question. One of them will get answered. One of them won't. So if it's him subconsciously pushing it, why would he not answer his own questions? And the same will happen with me and Scott. So if any of us was subconsciously pushing it, all of our own questions would be answered. Why would it just not move sometimes?
Yeah.
So...
That's very true. Some people, which I didn't even think about, have made something of this. Now, being totally critical, I can't find it, but I it's just
literally just before that.
I think it's just because it's like 2 a.m. Full disclosure, this Ouija board was so slow I was actually bored. I was bored and tired, and basically I think my mind is just totally switched off because you're just like I'm just like. Just keep going round and round and round.
Yeah. You go, let's close down the board, and then you're spinning it around, and you go, come on, guys. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
And just there, when Scott's finger fell off.
See, in hindsight, I don't like that. Not happy with it.
People have said, oh, well, Scott's finger fell off. That's why he was targeted.
Yeah.
Or was I fucking possessed? By a demon trying to stop us from shutting down.
Stop it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just talk about the numbers as well. The 6 and then moving away from the 6.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about this a lot. The fact it goes 6, 5, 6, 5, 6. This is a good thing for us. If it was to truly be 666, surely it would go up to 6, down to nothing, up to 6, down to an empty space, rather than 6565. But 65656565. I mean, I'm born on the 6th of the 5th. Ooh. So yeah, that was the Ouija board. Really, we were forced to use this one because I lost my planchette somehow. But yeah, I would say it is a little bit too big. But when we next use a Ouija board, we're gonna go for a nice, concise A4 size one. Okay, let's move over to a first for the channel. Absolutely loved it. The Estes method. I'm just going to start by saying a few people have been like, could you not have recorded it? It was at 3 o'clock in the morning. We'd never done it before. It was Scott's spirit box. I wasn't aware that you could record from them. And to be honest, I didn't even think about it. I was just excited to be doing the Estes method. But we have since found out, Scott, haven't we, that can be recorded?
Yep, so you can record from it. This was the second time I'd actually used the spirit box.
Right.
I bought it sort of during lockdown, and obviously there wasn't much going out during lockdown.
Yeah, of course.
And I didn't particularly fancy using it in my bedroom.
Yeah.
So it's sort of this is the first time I've actually used it on a location. So
Mm.
it was very much a learning experience, working out the sweep rates and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, of course. And like, I've got nothing to hide. So if I can add any credibility to anything that I find, I will. So next time we do this, much like the first EVP bit in this video, where it's like you're hearing the actual EVP recording, what I'll do is I will have the actual spirit box in the background, so you're hearing both audios basically. But yeah, so this is the Estes method. It was just really cool, and it was really freaky because, you know, there was a lot of words said. My name was said twice, and obviously earlier Scott said, can you say our names? I said, can you repeat my name specifically? This bit here where it says fire and door, if I'm just linking things, obviously the RAF base that we visited twice, there was a big bang with the fire door. And then it goes on to say house. And obviously recently we'd been in a farmhouse. Or it could, of course, be what Bailey was saying about, you know, he had a house fire. But yeah, I'm just, because also, that is the rig setup. That is the camera in question there.
Yeah.
As you can see, it looks like a wonderful setup, and it nearly ruined the video. But and I'm filming on the interference camera on the shelf here. But yeah, obviously we don't know how the paranormal works. We don't know how the spirit world works. Is everything happening all at once? Is everything everywhere all at once? You know, is it possible that it is linking places that we have been to, or maybe it's where it attached itself to us, you know, whatever. So maybe it is referring to places that we have been, as opposed to places linked to the ancient Ramin. Because I just thought it was really weird in hindsight that it was fire, door, and house. But yeah, so obviously I'm saying here, you know, you can say my name, and my name was said twice, which is really weird. But later on in the Estes method with Maya specifically, where I'm basically having a back and forth, it was just crazy.
Honestly, I didn't watch this back until the video was pretty much finished, and I was literally, because I obviously didn't know how well the responses corresponded. So watching that back, my jaw was dropped the entire time. It was like, what?
Yeah. It was just fucking crazy.
My favourite bit is the bit where Bailey asks if he can have a go.
Yeah.
So I will say with this as well, I've seen a lot of spirit boxes, obviously on different paranormal things over the years. The Estes method was new to me.
Yeah.
So I hadn't actually seen anyone do this previously. And I was shocked by how aligned some of the responses we were getting were to the questions we were asking.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was one of those, I was sort of expecting just words that sort of lined up, but we were getting almost perfect responses to what we were asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, innit?
I have been told.
Yeah, crazy.
For the next one, the person doing it, should be blindfolded. So we will be doing that.
We did have our eyes closed. Just
we did.
So everyone knows,
But if you just blindfold, it's just easier, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is the part that you're referring to.
You can see how much pain I'm in.
No.
Should we swap her out?
Yeah. Straight away is there just response no before you even finish the question.
Can I give it a go?
Go away.
Yeah.
See,
I love that.
that could be two things, because obviously it's no and go away. That could be telling Bailey to go away, or it could be trying to stop me from pulling Maya out of the Estes method, because there is a dialogue going on. There is a communication pathway, which I think is just creepy.
Before you even finish your sentence on the first time you say, should we pull her out? She replies immediately, no.
Yeah. And also, like I say it in the video, but I just want to make it like abundantly clear. I was not, when I heard like noises, because there was a lot of like things that could sound like no that I specifically didn't say. I only said words that were clear as day. There was no other way that that could be interpreted. So I understand that yes, does sound like a lot of noises, but I only said it when I actually heard a person say yes. That was the only time that came through. So but when I say no, that is a direct response.
I was the same. It's very horrible. It's like you're in like a fucking void. One of the unfortunate things, obviously, is Bailey, as you leaned in to pull me out of the Estes method, you turned the camera away.
I know.
It shit me up. But the crazy thing was, the reason I got so shit up was, and maybe it was, I don't know, the light the other side of my eyelids, and maybe it was you somehow. But obviously I got my eyes closed, and as you go to tap me on the knee, with my eyes closed, I literally see a black mass get closer to me. You know, like when you're in like a nightmare or sleep paralysis or something like that, and there's like this dread coming towards you. It felt like that, and then you tapped me on the knee. Now, like I say, you could have somehow maybe been that torch to the right. Maybe you were blocking the light, and that actually reflected through my eyelids. I don't know how thick your eyelids are, but yeah, it was very odd. But this bit here was mad.
Animal.
Someone was saying, what did someone say in the comments? I should really look.
They connected. They were like, how did no one connect this? You say play, and then you say animal, and it's clearly talking about the fucking bear on the table.
That's it, yeah, it's crazy.
That we didn't have turned on at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, I think in my head at that point, because we were sat over the Ouija board, play
was the
Ouija board. I didn't think essentially a child.
Yeah.
Which obviously the Ramin's known for child sacrifices.
Yeah.
Nice.
Love it.
But here we go.
That's
This is
another
where
time
I ruin your life, Scott.
Yeah.
Did you have cats? Or like cats?
Footsteps.
Can you make some footsteps?
Scott.
Yeah, that was.
Your
Look at my face, like fucking. Look, it was
you
just
make
fucking.
some
It cut
footsteps?
through me like a
Scott.
knife, man. It's like, look, it's just like, oh my god, and then it followed up,
Do you want to speak to Scott?
and it with "you're in trouble," and I so desperately, you can see it in a second. I so desperately did not want to tell you what I just heard, because I knew if the shoe was on the other foot and someone told me that in this setting, I would probably jump out of the window, and we're 2 stories up. Like,
But you also don't mention it in the
look,
video.
here we go. I've just heard it, and I'm like, oh man,
The witch that was burned
oh
at the
man, I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to tell him.
Right, don't panic. So it said Scott, and then it said you're in trouble.
I love the kiss of the teeth.
yeah.
Wow.
Don't like that. How did that feel, Scott?
It wasn't great. So the name on its own didn't really bother me
Yeah.
because, it said your name previously several times.
Yeah.
It's like previously when we were downstairs making sure it was working. Me and Maya heard your name
Yeah.
when we weren't filming, so it saying the name wasn't massively out there. But then to sort of go from my name to a direct sort of follow-on,
Yeah.
and specifically a direct follow-on that sounds like it's straight out of a horror movie,
Fuck that.
I wasn't keen on.
Well, this is another thing. You definitely said it, but you cut it out of the video, and we couldn't find the video of it or whatever. But it sang "You're in trouble," which is even worse.
You're in trouble, like that.
So it went, Scott, you're in trouble.
Almost
That
like a mocking
like,
kind of.
It's like you're so fucked. Like
almost childlike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously,
it gets so much worse.
my world was fucking rocked.
Scott's like, why the fuck did I come to this shit house?
Oh yeah, this. What do you want?
Yeah, it's that bit. It's that bit. That fucking
Look at
sent me.
Scott's
That's
face.
it. That's the fucking
like,
nail in the coffin there.
Because it was immediate. We went,
Yeah.
what do you want? And you instantly went,
Like, even if you were answering, even if let's say you were faking this and just saying random things,
Oh, the likelihood
that's
of
not
that.
that's not a response to the sort of thing you would say. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
and I've had what 3? When did we go with 3-4 weeks now?
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's been since then. But I still can't come up with anything. I know the comments have had a few thought, specifically the slipping off of the Ouija board, slipping off the planchette while closing down.
Just mocking you that you didn't do it. Yeah. Could have been that.
I can't. There's nothing distinct that jumps out to me.
Yeah. I also realised the level of arrogance that I accidentally shew in that building when I invited attack upon myself, but specifically not to attack you. I'm not being funny. Who the fuck am I to tell a demon what to do? And it could be perceived as like, oh, don't attack this guy, or don't fuck you. I'm gonna go for him then. So in future, I'm just going to mention, if I do it, I'm going to mention myself specifically, but not mention anyone else specifically to not do it to,
Maybe I'll start asking it to attack me and specifically not you.
I'll do that,
Yeah.
Attack.
Payback.
It will listen to me.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be like, well, okay then.
I just get thrown through a window. But yeah, it was just, but that face, oh my word.
Yeah.
The pain.
That was like, oh, this is a mistake.
Yeah. And then you're just like, oh, I'd like to take a break, please.
It was one of those. It was boiling up at that point.
Yeah, it's like, bollocks.
Do I?
Can you give us a clue?
All I'm hearing, other than like, the odd, is like, and then out of fucking nowhere, and I don't know why it was like inaudible, but it was inaudible in Scott's voice.
I forgot about this bit.
I don't know what it said.
This bit fucked me up. Like,
you instantly look like you're gonna cry.
Fucked me up.
Your legs start shaking.
Because it's like,
it's like
I say, it's one thing, like, it's cycling through radio stations, maybe it's Scott Mill, but to have your fucking voice on there, and then knowing demons, they like to fucking,
I mean, we didn't think of that, obviously, until we got back downstairs.
I know, I did. I clocked straight away.
Were you thinking that at that
I was
point?
thinking that straight away, yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
because
God.
I wanted to do it. This is a bit of a tangent, but I wanted to do that interview with that US's top exorcist, and he did an hour-and-a-half lecture about exorcism, and I watched the whole thing, and he fixated so hard on when you're doing an exorcism and they will like mimic your voice, or they'll mimic the voice of the dead, like say like you're having an exorcism and then they'll mimic their dead grandmother's voice to fuck up their own mother, because it's like, oh, it's your dead mum like coming through, oh, she's in hell, she's fucking burned and stuff like that. And so I was instantly like, it's mimicking Scott's voice. I wasn't like, that's Scott. I was like, it's a mimic of Scott's voice. You know, it's just fucking
Well,
horrendous.
I'm not dead, so that's a positive.
Absolutely. But
Touchwood.
I wasn't far off at this point, to be fair, but
yeah,
my heart
sounded like.
I think when you went downstairs and necked an entire Red Bull was probably the moment you were closest to death.
That was crazy.
That was the most alpha male thing I've ever seen. Like just a full Red Bull.
That was a big one
this.
as well. This was weird. This was really weird. And obviously, well, no, sorry, I apologize. You did pick up on this because you do say that you just heard it. But this squeak is very odd.
That's not all it said, but it actually sounded like you.
It's like a yelp or a meow. I feel like I've heard our cats make that noise before.
Check it.
And then there's a noise, and then I say, check it. Like, what the fuck?
See, there was a debate in my head at this point whether or not I turn my torch on and start
I love
look
this
over.
bit.
Oh yeah, this is
This
brilliant.
bit is so good.
There was so much fear in my movement.
Yeah, but before we just watch that, I do just want to say, and it is a flex, but it is so fucking necessary for the credibility. Those are the most expensive noise-cancelling Bose headphones that you can buy. Like, and it was really loud in there with the Spirit Box, but also the level of noise cancellation technology on them headphones is the most superior on the market. So what I'm saying is, when there's a noise and then I say check it, I can fucking assure you, hand on heart, I did not hear shit. Here we go. Ready?
We did get them on Prime Day.
Ready? Look at that. Just the slow click.
Check what? I get blanked all the time, or just get told to shut up.
Yeah.
Go away.
Did you just make a noise?
No.
Right, I just want to add something. So, watching this back so many times, I know this has been a lot of pausing and a lot of talking over it, but when you actually watch this through and you listen to one answer after another, it is very apparent to me that we are talking to two different spirits. And I think that one of them is shutting up the other one. Like the bit where it's talking about play, and one of them is convincing us to play with the Ouija board again, and the other one literally goes, please don't. And it's like, oh. So it feels like we're talking to a kid spirit and the demon. Yeah, massively. And when you watch that back and think that there might be two spirits coming through at the same time, it's very obvious to me.
I don't want to go too far here, right? But just latching on to what you've just said there, yeah? Scott, do you remember when I consulted you about the asylum video, about how I got really lost and it was inexplicable, and you were like, well, there's something called micro-possession where you feel... right?
Step-in possession, yeah.
Step-in possession, yeah, right? So you know when you're saying, Maya, there, that I say, no, please don't, it's really fucking weird how I say it. Now, I don't know where this is, so you'll have to... I don't play, right?
Yeah, it would be just after this.
What do you want us to play?
Do you want us to play with the Ouija board again?
You bet.
Okay, so let's say that's the demon, right? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to do 666 again?
Please. Don't.
Just see what I mean.
Please.
Please don't. Like,
and your face looks like you're in pain. You're like, please don't.
Yeah, it's really fucking weird. It's just, I don't know. It could be reading into nothing, but it's just very fucking strange.
Yeah, I know what you mean. There's a few points where your personality shifts during.
Yeah.
During
and
during
this
the
is how I end up
specifically. Yeah. the fact that I'm better than you at that point is saying something.
Yeah.
When you say please don't, it doesn't sound like somebody's just repeating something. It sounds like it actually comes from how you genuinely feel.
It feels that you're pleading with us almost.
Yeah.
You've added emotion to it. Yeah,
sure. And you don't know what we're saying, so you've got no reason to add emotion to it whatsoever.
Yeah. And then there's this bit. This is, I mean, when I was editing this, I was like, oh my god, like, it's just. So obviously I wanted to, because I was quite like, what the fuck at this point. I wanted to just straight away just get on the camera and just be like, if anyone, like what I have just experienced, it's one thing to, you know, go around with the camera and there's some knocks and stuff, and then people are like, oh, you've got someone running about. But what I fucking experienced in that moment with the voice and stuff, I was like, I'm going to put across as, not aggressively, but as, you know, sternly as possible that, like, this is, I'm doing this for this reason, you know, and it just accidentally became one of the best shots I've ever taken in my life, because it's just the moment when Scott,
I don't believe me or not,
Scott, I don't care if you believe me or not, where Scott reinforces my own thoughts with the here we go, it's here, with the demons mimicking, right? I'm starting to get emotional, just, you know, where I'm just like reciting it here on camera, and I can see, you can see, like, I start to, like, tear up and stuff, right? You got, I think Bailey says a joke. There isn't even a fucking flinch. Not even a little snigger. Nothing. Like, no, there is no amount of humor could pull me out of what I was in this moment. And you guys are just, like, trying to deduce all of the Ouija board stuff, all of the, you know, Estes method and stuff that has happened up to this point. Yeah. And I'm just doing, obviously in the post, this slow zoom, and you can see I'm just processing it while you guys are just giving
Not an incubus or succubus,
like, exposition.
They're demonic. They're relatively harmless.
And I'm just falling.
They're not gonna hurt,
Like, they might fuck you, but then, and Bailey's laughing and that.
I mean,
Nothing.
The thing with demons is they try and convince you that they're nice, and they try and keep you there. And that is exactly what we've been experiencing in that witch's room all night.
This is a cinematic masterpiece. Like, not to blow smoke up your ass, but oh my god. The way that you're literally having a breakdown while in the background the three of us are just piecing every single bit together. Yeah. This was unplanned. Like, you cannot believe that this is unplanned.
And this
that
bit
puts the whole video together. It's so good.
Yeah, and just this bit that I fade to black on with what Scott says.
I mean, I asked it if it wants to be our friend, yeah. I asked it if it wants to be our friend.
This bit.
Maybe that's what it wants. Maybe it wants us.
Maybe that's what it wants. Maybe it wants us, then it just fucking...
I don't remember saying that. I want to put that out there.
And then we did a pendulum. Now, I need to be critical here. When we do the pendulum next time, we need a different camera angle.
Yeah, of the hand.
Because...
Yeah,
like, it's like this. It's like this is going to yes, but it looks like it's going to maybe.
We almost want a top-down angle.
Yeah.
Where I take over, it's much clearer, and when it's closer to the board as well, it's much clearer. But I also feel like the fingers need to be included in the shot, because I could very easily just be going like this at a shot. But I'm literally like, and just you guys would have seen it. Obviously, it's not on the camera. I'm doing that, and it's it's going like. Yeah. And you know, we even address like careful with your breath and stuff like that to even speak more softly so that we're not even blowing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing with this is this was a very last minute addition.
Yes.
This was I was browsing Amazon like a couple of days before. Saw a pendulum and went, yeah, I'll buy one just because I've never seen it. I've never really looked into it. So when we got like the circle, I had no idea what any of the actual movements meant. It didn't come with an instruction book. It was just a yes, no, etc.
Yeah. And apparently when it goes in a circle, it means that multiple things are trying to communicate through it. Which
leads us back to the Ouija board.
Yeah.
And it all makes sense.
Yeah. And the Estes method.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what that is what I meant.
But yeah,
but the Ouija board, we did have multiple things as well on that. It seemed.
Yeah. We had a cat at one point. So.
Well,
that's in.
Yeah.
Cat and a demon. Love to see it.
And with this again, I will say obviously I was shaking because I was slightly nervous at this point of the night. So that potentially, could have been something there.
Yeah.
If I'm shaking, but for me to shake in a way that it changes direction.
It's
very weird.
There's a couple of points where you can see that I'm shaking slightly too much to hold it stationary.
Yeah. Which is why we swapped.
Which is why, yeah. because it's relatively straining to keep your hand there still,
Yeah.
and because you're focusing on keeping your hand still.
Yeah.
And when you so the minute I knew I was moving, unconsciously moving, we swapped over. Maya took over,
and it was 15 minutes after the Estes method. So we literally finished the Estes method at 3:10, went into the kitchen, and we had to start the pendulum at 3:33. So we had.
So yeah, the Estes method.
Grabbed it.
We started the point that everything kicked off on the Estes method with, with Jordan's Estes method was the witching hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's when it started,
and that wasn't planned.
And I checked my clock and my watch as we were walking downstairs, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's 3:10." It makes so much
about
sense.
10 minutes. About 10 minutes before that is when it started kicking off, almost to the minute.
Yeah.
And it's like we were planning on doing the Estes method during the witching hour, but for the timings to line up that.
Yeah. And we just had too much time to kill as well, so we just were like, "Oh, let's just go start it. It's 2:15 or whatever." Yeah. And then it just ran into the witching hour by accident.
And then it's like Jordan said earlier, time just wasn't flowing properly.
It was so bizarre.
It was we went in to do the Estes method about, like you say, 2:15, and then suddenly it's the witching hour.
Yeah, suddenly an hour's passed, and it felt like we'd been in there for 5 minutes.
I felt like I had the headphones on for about 5 minutes when I was
sitting
in the chair.
And you were in there for 20 minutes. It's like, how does that even make sense?
Yeah.
But that would be obviously why you were still so shook up about it. But we were like, we have to go back in. It's 3:33. Like we haven't come all this way and got this far to just miss 3:33.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that leads us on to the final part of the night, which changed everything for me. Let's just watch it, I suppose. The events you're about to see have changed my entire perception on the paranormal. And it has. It genuinely has. Viewers' discretion is advised. I feel like
just an important thing to note just before we start.
Christ.
Sorry. This entire thing we have uncut footage of where all 4 of us are accounted for. For the what did it take us? 10, 15 minutes, something like that. We have an entire video that I think that you should upload so that people can literally watch it for themselves, even if you just do a sped up version of it at the end of this video. We have an entire uncut video from when we see the demon written in the mirror till the end, uncut.
Also, we were like this close to this part not even happening.
Yeah.
Because I was like, we need to go in and just do Polaroids around the whole building.
I just wanted Polaroids from each of the rooms.
I mean, I almost didn't come with you at this point.
Yeah.
But then I also didn't want to stay outside by myself, so.
Yeah.
Because after the pendulum, we all shit ourselves and we went and sat in the car for 40 minutes? Half an hour? Something like that?
Probably,
and we were like,
half an hour.
Come on, let's just go back in, quick Polaroids, and then we'll go home.
I mean, at this point, the sun was very faintly, but starting to come up.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it's weird how that almost lifted the atmosphere.
Yeah, until.
And
roll the video.
As I almost started to feel safe.
One of the crew
again.
Yeah,
I'll take one of the crow.
So it's worth mentioning as well, I was behind the camera at this point.
Yes. And as you can see how the framiness, this is where the camera really deteriorated, unfortunately.
And you can sort of tell I'm behind the camera because the camera is shaking a lot more because I am more startled at this point than Bailey.
Pause it on the bit.
I'm like, what does it say on there?
Pause it on the bit. Look, you can see it. Maybe just go back 1 frame.
I was there. Yeah. And boom.
There we go. Clear as day.
DEMON. Who the fuck writ that on there? That's
not there.
That's doing me in almost as much as it getting wiped off because that was just not fucking there.
We've reviewed the footage so many times now.
I spoke to my uncle the other day on the phone and he was like, "Oh well, an employee of the Ancient Ramen could have been running around." I was like, "No, I was in that building for 13 fucking hours. I had the code to the fucking padlock on the fence of the fucking grounds. There was no one in that fucking building. No one."
It's also really important to point out that the building is not that big. It's no bigger than a 3-bedroom house. It's not. It looks massive on camera, but it's really not.
we couldn't split off and do 2 separate investigations.
Yeah, we
tried.
Yeah.
We physically couldn't because there's
each
not
other.
enough floors because the floors aren't solid. There's gaps.
Yeah, you can see upstairs through downstairs. Yeah,
which I guess we got onto in a second actually.
Yeah, because this was quite a big
thing. Which I don't
thing.
think was a camera. Yeah,
I don't think
this
it
is
was.
quite a big
retrospectively,
thing.
No.
Should we go for the witch's room?
Absolutely. What was that like for a start?
That was, I think that was the Polaroid camera.
Why?
Nah,
I'm
we weren't
downstairs
taking
and
a
I'm holding
Polaroid.
it.
Were you not at that point?
No.
I'm down the bottom of the stairs holding it. It's probably
There's a light outside.
Someone's security light.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I think it's the light through the floorboards.
So basically, Bailey, what did you think you saw?
Right. This is what it was. Okay, so I'm at the back of the 4 of us. I'm the last one up the stairs, and as I'm passing through the archway to walk up the stairs, I just see in my ultimate peripheral vision, just a tiny little, and then I'm like, oh, okay, hang on a minute, what was that like? So I heard a little sort of move, and then I saw something swoop across. Looking back at the footage, and I've asked Scott to move across. Scott is not even looking anywhere near the direction of where I saw it swoosh from. So obviously I couldn't see where Scott was standing at this point. I just thought, I'll move it back. Oh, that was it. But looking at the footage from what I'm actually seeing from when I saw it, it's not because Scott.
At this point, we were coming up the stairs, so I was sort of aimlessly pointing the camera. It was more of a. This was just a stall in between where everyone got up the stairs. Though I wasn't, filming anything specific.
That would have been cut.
So when you said pan back to where you were, because I wasn't filming anything specific, it was sort of I'll just turn the camera because I don't actually know what I was looking at when.
Yeah.
Now, thinking back on it, it looked more shadow-esque, if that makes sense. It was sort of like a shadow moved across, which made me think, okay, it must have been the torch reflecting off something to make it look like a shadow.
So the other thing is, if there was someone from the RAM running around downstairs,
where were
which
they?
there wasn't because they couldn't have been.
Yeah.
Where would they have come from for you to have seen them there?
If they came from the fire door
they come from the where the mirror was out.
But if it was an actual physical person.
Oh, so they stepped out of the fucking mirror.
So roll it back a little bit to where we're kind of looking at the mirror, and I'll show you.
That's why Demon got wiped off the mirror, because he was no longer in it.
I literally fucking watched him do it, fucker.
Or the demon has stepped out onto the glass and pulled itself out.
Nice.
I want to kill myself.
Right, so
demon.
If you can see, it's hard to kind of, but pause it there. Okay, so we got a bench here, so that mirror is in its own little one-way entrance. You can't get to the mirror from that door.
I think there may have even been a barrel or something.
Yeah,
here,
so you can only get into that one way, and that's where it come from. It come round that bench and through into where
God.
I didn't realise that.
I thought so. Where this camera is pointing, to the right is the doorway, and then that's where that piano was. Where I went. I thought it came through there from the piano into this room.
The door. That's what I thought.
It was
mate, well, in that case, there's no fucking way that any light that Scott was fucking casting could have caused anything.
Well, I was facing the opposite direction.
He was facing the den.
Yeah. So let's say that this was an employee, which it wasn't. It
wasn't.
Categorically wasn't. They would have either had to have come in through that door there, which was locked.
Yes.
And a fire door.
Yeah, they'd have to have come into that. We'd have known, which again, Bailey was stood next to it. If someone had opened that door and walked in the building,
what the fuck you doing?
Someone would have been knocked out.
Also, we had the keys to that door, let's just point out, and it's padlocked shut, I'm pretty certain.
Yeah, the key was in my pocket at this point.
Yeah.
Where it was all night.
Because it was the Betty Boop key that we got from the microwave.
The one that you had to keep in your pocket at all times in case of a fire.
For emergency exit,
Fire door.
Fire door.
Fire door.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Fucking hell. That's rank.
Yeah.
It's obviously drawing the attention to the mirror.
Take it back a little bit further, just before we skip onto the pyro. Just take it back as we first come from the piano room, walking to when we go to the barn to take the photo. I don't know if you see it.
This is the crow. Right, so this is the crow. I might have cut it.
Yeah,
we're
okay.
just in the barn.
As we come out, you'll be able to.
What? Do you just want to see the room? Because I can go back to earlier when we were just.
Go back to somewhere where
it's daylight.
Was.
Look, it's fucking daylight. Look,
it's straight there. Yeah.
So that's the door in question.
But the things in the bottom are shut, so no one could have got in that building with that door.
Chair.
So that's the mirror.
A big old fucking bench. Yeah.
Again, to get to the mirror, they'd have had to have hopped over the bench.
Also, just pause it on the door. The things in the floor that bolt the door shut, they are down. You can see they are. So no one could have come in that door from the outside.
Again, we'd have, if that door had opened, we'd have known. That door there, that door there, the one opposite it.
Yeah.
I looked in earlier in the night as well. I don't know if... I know we didn't look in at any other points tonight, but early in the night when we were doing our initial
7-8
sweep,
o'clock right now.
I opened that door. There was no one in, just to clarify. There's no, because if there was someone in there, I'd have probably had a heart attack.
But also, if there was a ramming staff member doing this to us, they would not have come out and done it while Bailey was still at the bottom of the stairs.
And two other things. First of all, I was in such a height. Like if there was a fucking dude running around in that building with a black morph suit on, so he can be in the shadows and stuff. If we'd have been going around and he'd have timed something wrong and he was like at the top of the stairs, or we're coming out of the witch's room, I'm telling you now, I would probably have been in such a fight or flight, I would have pushed the cunt down the stairs. So first of all, that's a safety issue. Second of all, I have just spent, full disclosure, a bit of money for us all to be there, yeah? If I went there and some fucking bastard was there faking shit, I would have exposed them straight away. Because also, in this industry, I'm not being funny, if I did a video, ancient ramming is a scam, blah, 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 that would fucking do better for me, unfortunately, because unfortunately, this world loves negativity. So it's like, it's just not in their interest whatsoever to risk that. Because all it takes is for me to have a viral video saying and proving that they fake shit, and they are done. Their whole business is fucked.
And they'll never be able to sell the house either because it's haunted, and they won't ever get any customers ever again because it's proved that they fake shit. So it's just ridiculous. Like, I know TGF did that video and he was like, I'm convinced that they're pulling tricks on us. But that was never proven.
No.
That was never proven. But the only reason he ever said that was because of how much stuff he caught. He was convinced it couldn't be real.
Yeah.
So, like, people can say, oh, well, TGF proved it. It's like, well, they didn't. They just caught so much shit that they couldn't believe that it was paranormal, which is exactly what we did.
Yeah. Right, let's watch the mirror a bit.
Yeah. Give us a slam or a knock.
Yeah, that's where I was when I saw it, but facing the other way. Like, actually in the archway.
What the fuck?
It's in a second. You can pause it and get a perfect shot of it. No, that's
there.
There.
Yeah, boom, it's been wiped off.
Without a shadow of a doubt, that was there and that has been wiped off.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. We caught it so perfectly on camera as well. I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
The fact I didn't run at this point is a miracle.
I was like, Scott, make sure you got this.
It didn't take long before you fucking turn around trying to leave.
The shot of you walking out of the door. Love it so much.
That was on the Pendulum.
You sounded so pissed off when I was like, who the fuck did that? Don't fucking look at me, mate.
What?
Fuck off. Nah, fuck off. No, that's been wiped off.
Who did that?
None of us. I swear on my life it was.
Fucking look at me, mate. Yeah.
Oh, fucking fuck, you got love.
Because I was the last one up the stairs, yeah. So I didn't want any form of like, oh, he must have done that before he came up.
Yeah.
Not a fucking chance. I was like, Maya was in front of me. I was literally
directly behind me.
Directly behind.
Exactly.
I didn't move away.
And like we've established, there is a fuck off bench there that you would have to vault.
Maya would notice me.
You'd have to move stuff out the way.
And don't get me wrong, Bailey, I love you to death. You're one of my closest friends. If you had faked that, I would never invite you to another one of these again.
And you'd know that.
I would obviously I would talk to you, but you would never come to one of these again.
But this is exactly why I pointed out that we have a full uncut video where all of us are accounted for at all times. Because with that where you're like, don't look at me, mate. It's almost like, well, was there times when they weren't all together? Like, no, we were all together for that entire 10-minute period. That's all we were in that building for.
I'll play that on a sped up at the end of this video.
Mm-hmm. So, see, because with this as well, obviously I came down the stairs last.
Yeah.
And because where I was obviously at the bottom of the stairs, you don't have the angle to see. The light's not quite hitting it at the right angle from the bottom of the stairs. So you guys were freaking out.
Yeah.
I was already shitting myself anyway. I came down the stairs and had no idea what was happening. So I walked in and I was trying to sort of piece together what you guys had seen. Hence why my camera's sort of all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean,
because I just had no clue what was going on.
Yeah.
For me, for the entire night, I was getting duds on the Estes method. Estes method, the whole thing. I was just getting no responses for nothing. So I spent the majority of the night behind the camera.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt like I was desensitized to the whole.
That's definitely a thing. There's that level of separation.
Yeah, I felt like, because I feel like I've seen this video before it was out, because I saw the whole thing through a screen already.
I mean, that's why I'm now behind the camera at this point. To try and desensitize me from this point.
Because I mentioned it before. I was like, no, I'm still calm. Stuff's happened, but I'm still calm. You can hear in my voice when I tell you, don't look at me. That is raw emotion, mate. I'm mate,
scared.
Don't even fucking start, mate. I ain't no chance.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. And then obviously we vacated the building for the last time. Well,
I think the thing that's scary about it is we could have so easily missed that, both going up and down. So think about the other shit that we might have missed.
Yeah.
I reckon that helped me is wiped off the window. Wiped off the mirror in the bishop's room.
Yeah,
that was in a previous video, not someone else's video. That could
be, and that could have been the 3 taps, because it could have been the ghost going into the room.
Was it still there at the end?
The mirror.
We never went back in.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep tabs on Ancient Ramin videos, because someone else is going to go in that bishop's room soon, and that might not be there.
Yeah.
I want to see if the demon in the wipes off going to be there. That's what I want to see.
Now, this shot here did 2 things for me. First of all, I'm clearly mortified, and second of all, it has inspired me to lose weight. That is a very unflattering picture of me. But yeah, it was a fucking crazy night. It really was. Right, so that's the Ancient Ramin. Obviously, it's been a while now. We've had time to process. It hasn't got any better for me, to be honest. What do you guys think now? Has anything changed for you since? Has there been something that's like, that was definitely a demon, and now you've had it a few weeks and you're like, actually, no, it was something else?
For me, I think everything, you think kind of after the time of it, you kind of debunk it a little bit more. The time that's gone on and seeing other footage has only solidified what we thought anyway. And it's kind of made it a little bit worse.
It's got so much worse.
Yeah, for myself, I think it's been 4 weeks, or whatever. But I 100% want to go back. Without a shadow of a doubt. I want to go back.
ASAP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott, you next.
I mean, I don't want to go back, but I'll go back.
Yeah.
Want is a strong word.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think similarly, the fact we're still sort of connecting things now.
Yeah.
So the fire door.
Yeah.
That connection, it's been 4 weeks, that connection only just came through.
Yeah.
Watching it then.
Only just realising where I saw the figure come from.
Yeah, exactly. But the mad thing for me is literally we have spoken about this pretty much every single day since we left that place. There's not a day that's gone by that I've not thought about the Ramin. That's nuts for me. Yeah. The stuff that we caught is
stays with you, doesn't it? 100% it stays with you. And I would urge anybody who's slightly interested in this to go to this place and experience it for yourself 100%. And you'll know as soon as you step into that place, you'll know what we're talking about, and it's not
evil building.
it is very
So,
sinister.
Full disclosure with it, when we walked, or when I got home after this, I was trying to explain to people what happened, and trying to explain it without any sort of visual evidence to back it up, just trying to wrap my own head around it enough to tell them the steps of what happened throughout the evening. Without the footage, it's just impossible.
You sound like a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I was trying to I tried to explain the mirror to people, and it was like, you're not grasping.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
The severity of it.
Do you know what? When you said that, there was a guy who commented, and he was like, "Well, I was because obviously I put out a video where I was like, everything's changed for me, and I stand by that, and I'll die on that fucking hill." But he was like, "Well, I was expecting a shadow figure or something. The mirror's just a bit meh." And I replied, I was like, "Sorry, just put yourself in that situation. You are in the witching hour in the most haunted building in the fucking country, right? You see a word written on a mirror that wasn't there the whole day. You go upstairs and you know categorically the people that you were with did not touch that mirror, and you also know categorically you're the only people in the fucking building, and you go downstairs minutes later and that is wiped off. You cannot call that meh. You just can't.
No.
You fucking
better than a shadow
cannot.
figure in my opinion.
Exactly.
It's more
But
creepy,
it's just
I would say.
fucking hell, man.
A shadow figure is one thing. That was a physical interaction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That manifested itself so powerfully that it wiped something off a fucking mirror.
Yeah.
For you to say that's meh is absolutely insane. But I do understand it being the other side of a screen. It's not the same.
I mean, previously, again, I've watched a lot of Most Haunted recently.
Yeah.
And it's, you watch them and you go, no, it's fake. They're getting too much evidence.
Yeah.
I can understand how people could watch our video and think, well, they're obviously faking it because so much is happening.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like you've said, Jordan, it's completely selfish.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you could get a video of a ghost walking in front of you.
Yeah.
People aren't going to believe it.
And also,
but you'll believe it. We'll believe it because we were there.
Yeah, and also, if like, oh, this is, you're faking it for views, right? Okay, well, let me tell you, I can do a lot A, cheaper, B, less effort videos and get equal to, if not more views, right? I sat here, for fuck's sake, and just talked about a few fucking theories on Stranger Things, and it done 6 times better than this video, and this video cost me hundreds of pounds to produce. It cost all of us time and money and everything to get there. It took me 2.5 to 3 weeks to edit, and it's like, this is not for fucking views. This is because I want to personally document proof.
Closing statements. Jordan,
Yeah.
do you think the ancient ramen is haunted?
Yeah, because I didn't ask myself, did I? Yeah, no, it is, most definitely. That is the most horrible building I've ever been in my life. It is evil. There is something there, if not multiple things there. And it has proved to me, categorically, that there is something that we do not understand. Whether that's ghosts, demons, whatever. But there is an entity there that is not human, without a doubt. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
So that has been our reaction. We'll probably do this for 30 East Drive as well, which we're going to in a few weeks' time. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, we could maybe, as we're all coming back here, we could maybe film something the next day.
Yeah.
Film of it. In fact, we will. We'll film a video, and then we'll put it out after the 30 East Drive's out. But yes, this has been the Ancient Ramen. Thank you everyone for your response and stuff to it. It's been amazing. Yeah, we're going to film a Q&A video, which you've probably already seen, because I'll probably put that out first. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the Ancient Ramen. Please do go if you have any questions of the paranormal yourself. Highly, highly recommend it. Guys, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it, giving you time to give your reactions. And like, share, subscribe.
About it, so.
Yeah. Like, share, subscribe. Check out the Patreon, all that good stuff. And I'll see you very soon. Sweet one, geese.